Yes, people, welcome back to another stream. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all feeling good. Manchester City 3, Everton 1, as I predicted before the game. I said 3-1. We got a 3-1. Absolutely buzzing with that. I was getting nervous. I was getting nervous throughout that game, and particularly in the last, when it was still 2-1 and it was 5-10 minutes to go, I was like, are we going to see the same script we've seen in recent weeks where we bottle it? But no, we went and killed it from a winning position. Listen, house rules before we get into the ins and outs of that big win. It really is a huge win, significant. Do smash a like on this stream and subscribe if you're new around here. You got myself. Big Joey Boy said he'd join us as well to talk about this game. And of course, there was no watch along because the Wi-Fi in Zante is a bit dead, isn't it?
Dead, isn't it? But I'm home tomorrow, innit? So business as usual.
Normality resumes tomorrow, people. Listen, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. 3-1. Before we talk about performances, before we talk about the overall flow of the game and how things went, huge win. Genuinely, absolutely massive win for us. Nasty game, nasty place to go, Goodison Park. For those of you who watch with audio or you don't watch-alongs, whatever, the atmosphere in that place was pretty poisonous. The Everton fans were on us. The players were feeding into it. So to come away with 3 points, I didn't care if it was a 1-0. I didn't care if it was a 10-0. I wanted my 3 points, but there are aspects of the game I'm very happy with. Lads, it's huge to get back to the Premier League and go there, of all places, and pick up a win.
Yeah, man, difficult place to go. I think a feisty game, wasn't it? Tackled flying in left, right, and centre. Obviously, we had the John Stones injury in there, which is a bit of a dampener on it. But it's a massive game, massive 3 points. I feel like in the preview, we were saying I wanted a City back performance. I think we got a second half version of that. We've still not got a 90-minute version of the City back thing. But I think it was a good game, man. And it was good to see Nunes starting, good to see Phil Foden running the show in the midfield. He was sick in that second half, definitely. But yeah, man, I think it's major 3 points. It puts us up to 4th with a game in hand as well. So win that game in hand, and then is that only 2 points off top? Yeah, win that game in hand, 2 points off top.
We've fought for that.
How have we finessed this? We've been shit for weeks.
We have. But I think the big thing you said there is true. The second half was a Man City performance. That was an actual Pep Guardiola treble winning team Man City performance. Because look, to not keep a clean sheet, it is what it is. Look, you're going to concede goals in football. It is what it is. For me, the main thing is, right, you get yourself back into the game, it's 1 each. You get your goal to go 2-1 up. It's at 2-1 is where I'm most concerned with Man City. It's not at 1-1 and it's not at 1-0 either. It's when we're 2-1 up is where I'm starting to go, this is where we could slip back into our ways pre-Club World Cup. This is where there's a mistake in someone in the defense or a mistake in someone in the midfield, and we let our standards drop, let our energy drop, and Everton come away with a draw, or worse again, they come away with a win, and we're saying, we've done it again. We've let it slip again. So for me to see us, look, I know it's a mistake from Jordan Pickford and communication between the Everton defender, but for us to go and get the third goal to kill the game, to make it 3-1, and that's that. We've gone on to win the game. is huge for me from a mentality standpoint. To see that the players are still chasing that goal, looking for that opportunity to kill the game. They haven't down tools. They haven't rested on their laurels. They're not accepting a 2-1. Joe, that's what we do. That's more like what we're used to.
Yeah, and it's been missing. I mean, need I remind all of us of the 10 minutes left to go, 1-0 up or 1 goal up, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, Crystal Palace. I mean, need I go on? Like the amount of times where we've got 10 minutes left and you're just thinking, hey, just keep the ball for a little bit, you'll be fine, which is what we would do last season. And we just didn't do that. I mean, me and you were there for the Crystal Palace game and it was an awful, awful watch. You just knew deep down something was going to happen because there was like a reoccurring theme. And I had a similar feeling with this one, thinking, this game's not over, just because of the patterns recently. But it's nice to see, again, like you said, that we still went for it. We still tried to go forward, kill the game off with a third that we actually got. Again, Everton mistake or not, we forced the mistake with the press. Like, we still went for that third goal to kill the game off. And it's still not vintage. Like, it's still a far cry from what we were used to in the running last year, but it's better. It's better. There's more encouraging signs than there has been. I mean, we still haven't kept a clean sheet, but I'm sure that'll come.
It's definitely better, but there's definitely positives to take from even that alone, for the fact that there's no Kevin De Bruyne. You know what I mean? You throw Nunes in, a very inexperienced player when it comes to playing for Manchester City in the Premier League. I think you throw Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland in there, just those two, I think we win that game comfortably. I think we score 4 and 5. Because for me, I don't know about you guys in chat, you can get involved. I don't want to criticize players after a win, but Alvarez, I wanted him to stand up in today's game. I know he got his goal, he took his penalty and it went in, even though he didn't strike it particularly well. That doesn't matter. The main thing is it went in. But there's some situations where I was looking at where we get him behind the defense, or where we put a ball across the box, and an elite striker with elite, understanding of judging a cross or where a ball may land, and you get a flick on, or you get to stab it at goal. An elite striker gets in those positions and probably scores them. Alvarez, maybe it's because he hasn't played striker properly for a while now. He's been predominantly deployed in the midfield, but today he was a bit ghosty for me. Jordan, I don't know what you think.
Again, ghosty. Yeah, man. I think, to be fair though, like I said in the preview, the Alvarez role that he does play does require him to drop deep a little bit. It is kind of false nine mode. He's basically a midfielder for us at this moment in time, which is a shame, really. I wanted him to full send just striker mode and smash it in striker mode, but I just think, I don't know if it's about him getting himself more involved in games or kind of just staying up top. But I think clearly, I think Pep's happy with Alvarez being there whilst Haaland's out. But yeah, he does seem to just disappear in these games. I don't know what the fix is, but basically when Haaland's back and Kev's back, Alvarez will be taking a back seat, unfortunately. Unless we can find a way to play with Haaland and Alvarez together, maybe with Kev in the midfield as well. But I just think when Kev comes back, he'll take Alvarez's spot and Haaland up top.
Just for anybody who enjoyed tonight's result, the Red Devils joined us to remind us that we have 115 charges. So don't enjoy it, people. Let that ruin your festive period. 115. Thanks for that, Red Devil. Totally forgot about that, mate. Totally forgot.
I thought it was an emergency number. I was about to dial it.
Big up professional idiot man, my guy with the 5.
Yes,
big up my Abu Dhabi oil dirham 115 charges, cheating, paying ref city. Big up oil money, man. Professional idiot.
Yes, 5, mate.
He always knows what to say. He always knows what to say. Big up Pie, man. Big up Pie for that. But yeah, I actually want to talk about the penalty thing, because I don't know. Am I crazy? Am I stupidly biased to think it's a stonewall penalty? I saw a number of people who I know very well on Twitter, many of you will know too, complaining about the decision of that penalty, saying, well, where is he meant to put his arms? I mean, here's Red Devil. It's never a pen and you know it's not. What do you mean? If his hand is above his head and he obstructs the flight of the ball, in what world is it not a penalty? I don't understand why people are complaining about cheating, or people you bringing out that old gimmick. But did either of you tell me think I'm being biased?
I thought it was a stonewall. I thought it was a pen straight away. If the ball hits his arm that he's supporting his body with, no pen. That's right. Do you know what I mean? Because he's supporting his body as he's falling. So that wouldn't be a pen. If the ball hit his head and then hit his arm, no pen. But it hits his hand, does hit his head after that. But it's the only argument I could really see, which is probably viable, is he's very, very, very close to him. He's very close to him.
What,
So like
in
the
the sense like
reaction
it's
time
close
on
to
that
his
is
head?
pretty.
Type thing.
No, I mean like was it Ake? Was it Ake? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ake is very close to him. So like there's not much time to move his hand out of the way, but his hand is in the air. So it's just a pen. It's a pen.
By the letter of the law, it's a pen, Joe.
Yeah,
it's a pen.
like I can understand the argument. I think the big one there for me is, like Jordan said, if it hit his head first and then onto his arm, or if it came off like his thigh or something and then onto his arm, then I get it, but it didn't. Like, what? I don't care how close he is. Why is he throwing his arm up in the air? Why is he trying to call for offside? What's he doing?
I mean, I don't understand the outrage because it's happened to us tonight. It's worked in our favor tonight when we see decisions like that every single week, and people complain about penalties given and not given every single week. Why is it such? Why do people feel such a need to react because it's Manchester City and the cheat now? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, give it a rest. Like, the reality is we were the better team tonight. If you're going to walk away from that, we deserve to win this game. I mean, someone has a super chat here. Yeah, Puneet, big up Puneet with the super chat, says, what happened to our defense? I think the defense, it did look shaky at times. I'm not going to lie. It did look a little bit unstable at times. I mean, the goal to concede was a calamity of errors, wasn't it? You know, you had the pass from Akanji, which was wild, fired at Bernardo Silva, who, you know, I don't know who, if Messi himself could have kept that in with the greatest touch in the world. And then Rodri did let himself down a little bit for that one because he took a little bit too long on it when, I don't know, it's because it's instilled into the City players that you just have to keep possession and pass it all the time. When for me, sometimes I'd like to see him just turn and go, boom, out. It's gone away from the 18-yard box. And that's something that let us down in the Palace game as well. If you remember Bernardo Silva, he was out in the wing and he was twisting and turning and he got dispossessed. And that before Foden went and fouled Mateta. So he could have just lumped the ball, and this was in the dying embers of the game. So I don't know. Is it that they're told that they have to just retain possession at all costs and take a little bit longer on the ball if needs be, or are they allowed lump it away? Because that's what I would have done in that situation. Bro, what did you think of the defense today, Jordan? In the first half, anyway, it was a little bit, you know.
Yeah, it's a little bit sus at times, isn't it? A little bit way, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a shame that John Stones got injured because that kind of it forces back into the Akanji thing. I wanted John Stones to start this game, so I mean, I can't really say anything. The only thing that's annoying about the John Stones injury is it was offside, but that's a different topic in itself. Yeah, I think the defense, it just looks shaky at this moment in time. Like I said, when in the preview, I said 2-0, and then the chat was like, and even you were saying, you think we're going to keep a clean sheet, and I just said by playing the odds game, at some point we'll get a clean sheet, and I thought potentially that could be today, but yeah, it weren't meant to be, and yeah, it's just it was just errors. It was just we shot ourselves in the foot, man. That pass from Rodri was killer. The pass from Rodri was dead, and like you say, yeah, we just kind of. Nah, Rodri made a terrible pass at one point in that build. It's like, oh, I'm sure Rodri did. It might have been.
He did.
Was it Rodri? Yeah.
He played the through ball.
Yeah. To be fair, it was a good ball in for Jack Harrison as well. But yeah, it's just dead, man. It's just dead. I just feel like we need to fix up a little bit defense. We need to like be on it. It doesn't feel like we're on point. Do you know how we used to celebrate defending? Like I don't think we can do that anymore. Not yet. We need to.
The defense has to feel like a unit to get a run of clean sheets, and where you got that feeling where you're going into games like we were at the back end of last season, where you're like, I fancy just to keep a clean sheet today, or I'm almost expecting a clean sheet today. There has to be a few things fall into place. The number one for me is consistency in selection, and I've started talking about this increasingly over the last few weeks. There has to be a consistent defense, a consistent back four, so X and Y know who they're playing with and know who's going to be around them. So you're building up like a morale amongst the defense of we're a unit. Every week we're going to war together type feeling. And unfortunately, we're missing a massive cog in that machine right now, which is Ruben Dias. Now, Ruben Dias he was ill tonight, by the way, so I assume he'll hopefully be back for Sheffield United on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not been his best, Ruben Dias, this season, but he's such a good player that I do expect him to, get back to his best. But what you need to have that unit as a defense is a Ruben Dias at top form, a Ruben Dias feeling himself. You know what I'm saying? Where he's like, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like a leader. I'm feeling like a general. Because even though he is one of the younger players of the defensive unit, including the midfield, John Stones and Rodri, etc., he is the most natural born leader of the lot. And you saw it last season when we're talking about what Jordan's saying about celebrating defending. Dias brought that culture in. Dias brought the culture of, we make a big block, I'm patting you on the back. I'm treating you like you just scored a goal. And that feeds into the rest of the defense. So, I mean, Joe, do you think the defense situation could be fixed with the simple case of just Ruben Dias getting back to his best and playing consistently?
As long as he's played in the right role, then yeah. I think he's struggled a bit this season because half the time, because of the John Stones injury at least anyway, half the time he's the wide centre-half, which I don't think he's very good at that role, especially when you're considering if a team breaks on us, he's more than likely going to be one-on-one against a winger. We know he's not the quickest. And just go back to Leipzig in the Champions League, the home game, that goal where he tried to crop him on the halfway line and he got past him. Like, he's just not very good in those areas. So if he's playing as the middle centre-half, then yeah. Because like you said, I mean, he brings the whole celebrating defending. But I don't think it's as simple as just that, especially with John Stones going out. Because then you've got the dilemma. What do? You have a Kanji pushing on? Do you have Walker playing right wing again? Like, it still leaves us a little bit shaky at the back regardless, because neither of those two are any good at doing those roles.
No, I agree. I agree. Jason, big up Jason, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Says, isn't it funny when we win, they cry about refs, but when we lose because of refs, then it's okay. Haters gonna hate 3 points, City till I die. Well, that's it. I mean, I tweet a lot. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, I tweet a lot, and I like to get under people's skin on Twitter. And I generally find you get the most tears when we win because they feel threatened. They do. I mean, a lot of Liverpool fans in my comments tonight, for whatever reason, they feel threatened. And for me, you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think that was a statement win. I think it was a statement win tonight to come back from a period away and a period of poor performances, and to put in particularly that second half to kill it from a winning position and to get 3 points in that venue. I think it was a statement, and I think your Arsenals and your Liverpools and whoever's going to be in the mix will be looking at that saying, right, we can't really afford to underestimate City anymore. It would be wrong for us to suggest that they're just down and out, because if we were down and out, we fumble tonight, in my opinion. I think we fumble in some capacity and we don't come away with 3 points. So it is funny, Jason. It is. Professionally again, big up my man Pi. They are mad that they don't have the refs on their payroll and can't be bullied to have decisions go their way. United fans.
Rob Pilot.
Big up Pi, man. Big up Pi. And big up Abdi here with the knock 50 as well. It's sad that Stones is out. Hopefully not long. Arsenal and Liverpool better create a big gap now before City start hitting the second half locomotive. That's to respond to your first part. It is really sad. It's actually, I feel really bad for John Stones at this point, because everybody knows how important John Stones is. Everybody knows how good John Stones is, and everybody knows how bad he wants to be in the team. But injuries are just killing the guy right now. They're really, really killing the guy. Injured the start of the season, gets back. Injured again, gets back. And now he's injured again. We don't know for how long. I'm going to keep an eye on City Extra's Twitter while we're live, but there's no news as of right now. But it's so soul destroying for him. And it's hard for us because we want to go on that run, but these little setbacks will have their effects. And then, listen, like I said, statement performance, Abdi. I think it's a statement performance. And as we said in the preview, myself and Jordan, we have a favourable, with the exception of Newcastle away, we have a favourable run of fixtures. We have an opportunity now to put 5, 6, 7 wins together, hopefully. It's easier said than done, and really get into that gear and get the team feeling like it's on. Let's go for it again. So, agreed. Big up Abdi, man. And then Fahad here again. Big up everybody for the super chats. Big up winners. Game control was great second half. Absolutely. I think the game control was a lot better than what we've seen in recent weeks. And I think we have to put some respect on Jack Grealish. We spoke about him in the preview, and I made the point that even though he may not get the G&A that everybody would like, his control, his ability to win fouls, his ability to get under the skin of other players, it's crucial to the way we play, Jordan, isn't it?
Yeah, Grealish is sick. I actually wanted us to go down that left-hand side a little bit more in that first half. I think we was kind of utilising the right-hand side, which we do quite a lot when Kyle Walker does his right-wing thing. Yeah, man, Grealish been smashing it. I'm really happy for it. I've just seen them, by the way, just on the John Stones thing.
Yeah, sorry.
AJ just put in the chat as well, saying John Stones wearing a protective boot, leaving Goodison Park tonight, which is expected. I think it's a shame, and I think he'll be. I think he's going to be out for a bit again. But like you said, we are going into a decent run of fixtures now, so hopefully he's back by the time like the Champions League football comes back around. Hopefully it's not even serious at all. But yeah, Grealish was sick. Happy with the performance. Obviously drawing fouls and that as always, standard. No G&A for him today, unfortunately. But he has been playing well, Grealish. I'm happy that the Doku thing seems to have improved his game a little bit, and I think long may that continue. I'm not sure when Doku's going to be back, but at this moment in time, I literally have no complaints about Grealish playing any of these games.
He's one of the first names in the team sheets for me. You can call me biased, but I think he shows it when he's consistently playing and he gets a run of games, Joe, that he's really important. He really is to the overall controlling of the game. Like, you know, that period I'm talking about where we're 2-1 up and we're all kind of sitting there going, we're either going to bottle this or we'll see it out. Let's just hope and wait and see. Grealish is actually really important in that situation because he'll win fouls. He'll draw players in and he'll control possession.
Yeah, that's the main difference between him and Doku. He'll do that, whereas Doku's more inclined to sit on the halfway line and look for a chance to break. So again, like I don't like the argument. It seems like you talk about it every single week, don't you? Doku and Grealish. Yeah. It's never ever going to go away, is it? Like, it's annoying, but I mean, the message is the same, really, isn't it? They're both good at different things. Grealish was much more suited to a game like this today, tough away game where we haven't been playing well, and any chance that we've got to potentially slow a game down and try and control it and take the sting out of things is needed at the moment. Like, we speak about being hit late on with last-minute equalisers all the time. It's because we don't keep hold of the ball. Like you said, go back to Crystal Palace, Bernardo Silva losing the ball. Him and Foden for the last 10 minutes couldn't keep hold of the ball. You know, that was a real struggle against Crystal Palace. And then you look again today against Everton, Grealish holding on to the ball, winning fouls. I think he got Patterson booked about 35 minutes in as well, so he was on edge for the whole game. Like, it's just a useful tool to have. Like, he wins I think there was one free kick Alvarez took. It wasn't right in the corner. Pickford saved it, pretty easy save, but he's won a free kick on the edge of the box. It's a goal-scoring opportunity.
No, I fully agree. I think it's the little things that Grealish offers. They all add up, and they all contribute to the overall performance. I'm just looking at our next basically month and a half worth of fixtures, and I'm not going to read them all out, but once again, with the exception of Newcastle away, very tough fixture, we don't have anything like where you go, this is a test until Copenhagen away, 13th of February, obviously a huge game. But then you've got Chelsea at home on the 17th of February, and then you're looking towards kind of March then where you've got a load of big fixtures. So it's really until the end of February, in my opinion, every single game is winnable. And if John Stones is to have an injury now, I'd rather he gets it out of the way now, and hopefully he can come back fit for that kind of March period, and he's rare and ready to go, hopefully beforehand. But at the worst case scenario, at that March period, and by then as well, by that March period, you'd like to think Kevin De Bruyne will have got a good few minutes under his belt, and he's raring and ready to go. I mean, with the way we played in the second half today, Jordan, I feel very excited about Kevin De Bruyne coming back, because he's someone that'll single-handedly add even more.
Yeah, that second half performance was sick, and just throwing someone like Kevin De Bruyne in there just changes it, man. It was so good to have Kevin this side. But I mean, Phil Foden ran that midfield in that second half like mad. It was sick. He was so sick in the midfield today. Like when we did our predicted 11, we had Phil Foden playing on the right hand side, but it's always known when Kyle Walker does the right wing thing, it's usually Bernardo that pushes out and holds the width on the right, and Foden plays that midfield role, and he played it really, really well today. but the guy wanted the ball every 2 minutes. He was having the time of his life. And I'm pretty sure I've seen a quote from him before saying about playing midfield and Pep picking him there. And he said, long may that continue. So Phil Foden wants to play more in the midfield as well. Whether or not that's our long-term plan for Phil, we know that we do utilise him a lot on the right-hand side. And especially when Kev's back, not sure if a Kevin Phil in midfield, I think might be a bit too ham that, but we'll have to wait and see, man. But Kev being back is major. Do you know what I mean? To have one of the best players in world football just not be available to you is mad. And it is. I know you can say like we're not a one-man team, but it's a game-changing comeback. That's like for the second half of the season, having Kevin De Bruyne back is next level. I mean, one of our group chats with mates, and they're all putting bets on for Kev to get the top assist of the season. Like, do you know what I mean? And the guy's been injured for the first half of the season, but saying, nah, he'll get it. He'll still get it. I think they're offering some mad odds, so they all put it on. But I just think it's insane, man. I think the fact that we're up there with the pack and we've not had Kevin De Bruyne, Haaland's currently out, Doku's currently out. I think we're lucky to be where we are, and I think it's only going to get better.
We've been given a lifeline. We've been given, like I said in the preview, a get me out of jail free
card. The other teams
have
been poor.
Yeah, they have. I mean, like I said, I'm looking at the fixtures here. We've got 7 Premier League games until March. The first game in March is United at home. So up to March, 7 Premier League games, 21 points available. I think we got to be going for 21 points. I can't lie. And I think 21 points going into March, all of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, shit. That means City have won 8 games in a row in the league. That little winning streak that people are fearing City put together is a real thing at that point. Yeah, there you go. Dan Trelius need that winning streak going into March. Like I said, 21 points available. At that point, De Bruyne is back, fully fit and firing, hopefully. John Stones, hopefully. Erling Haaland, hopefully. It's weirdly falling into place for us a little bit right now. Now, look, for me to say I want 21 points, much easier said than done. I'm not saying I demand 21 points because football's a funny game, but we have a great opportunity, Joe, because of the fixtures in front of us to do so. Like, we're not going to get a better run of games to do this than the next.
No. I mean, this has to be the famous 20-game unbeaten run that happens every season because, I mean, you point out Newcastle being the hardest game. Newcastle away. It's a tough ground, but they're in a real state at the moment. They cannot get 3 points to save their lives. So if they keep going like that, then I'm looking at Newcastle and going, pile on the misery there as well. Like, it's a great run of games, to be honest. And again, it's a shame with John Stones, but I mean, the sentiment is there. You hope that he just kind of has this time before the Champions League starts again, where we've got a good run of games. Because remember, this has probably been one of our harder runs in the season. You know, Stamford Bridge, Tottenham, Liverpool. You know, that was an awful, awful run of games. Even though we played poor, still an awful, awful run. Topping it off with Aston Villa away, Everton away that we've just done now. You know, we've rattled off some difficult away games in the festive period where we've notoriously been hit and miss at this stage of the season. To have some of those grounds ticked off and the run of games that we've got coming up, it's time to knuckle down and get on with it, because I don't think, even if we were to win all those games, I still don't think we'd be top. I very much doubt it. Unless something seismic happens with Liverpool and Arsenal, I doubt it. But we'd be close. We'd still have to play both of them one more time. Like, we'd be well in the mix.
I mean, like, I'm just looking at the fixtures that Arsenal have in that 7-game period I'm talking about. They've got Liverpool at home. They got West Ham away. Fulham away, not easy. And they've got West Ham at home tomorrow. So there's a couple potential banana skins there for Arsenal. But, like, you know, we do need to focus on ourselves more importantly. But when you look at our fixtures, like I said, 21 points. I'm not demanding it, but we have great opportunity to do so. We get to that March period with an 8-game winning streak, which is what it'll be at that point. You're playing United at home. I fancy us. I do fancy us. I'm sorry. I think they're absolutely trash. But you've got Liverpool away. I mean, tough. But with a winning streak behind us, we'd have to feel good going there. And Liverpool will know that we're on form. And you got Arsenal at home. Arsenal in the Etihad has to be a win for us. It has to be a win for us, considering we lost there this season in the Emirates.
I mean, haven't every top 6 side took points off us other than United?
Yeah.
which is wild. That second half of the season, we can't be doing that. If we want to win the title, you can't be doing that. You've got to be beating some of these guys, and especially at the, like you said, at the Etihad, that Arsenal, bro. That's a game where you're looking at going, we need to win that game. Especially at the time that it's at as well. You'd think it'd be crucial to win that game.
But in my opinion, if we get to March with 21 points from 21, we're a different team at that point. We're motoring and we're playing with a different chest. We're playing with a different venom, and people view us differently because whether you agree with it or not, people view us as vulnerable right now. Now, tonight might change a few little things because of the performance, but people do view us as vulnerable. Do you know what I'm saying? They look at Palace, they look at Tottenham, they look at Villa, they look at Chelsea. None of them are exceptional teams, and they all took points off us in some shape or form, both in the Etihad and at away venues. So the Etihad doesn't have that fortress sort of feel to it anymore either, but we can get that back now. We can get that back going into the business end, going into March. The next 7 games, first of all, are important, but if we can get through those 7 games with 21 points, like I'm saying, March is where the season title race is going to be flipped on its head by us, potentially. So it's really there for us. I can't lie. It's there for us once the players build off today's performance and go, right, we know we can do it again. We've not lost the fire. The fire's still in the belly. I loved watching the fight tonight. I love looking at Jack Grealish. I love looking at Akanji. I love looking at all the players getting stuck in. Time to build, lads. Time to build and motor on. Sheffield United Saturday, with all due respect, I'm expecting a win. And then we're 2 on the bounce. Keep it ticking over. As they say, one game at a time. One game at a time. Big up Nathan Gray with the 10 months. Really pleased with that second half performance. Wasn't pretty to start, but it's one you can really kick on from. Exactly what we're saying, Nathan. It's a good building block. And like I said, there's very few fixtures tougher than Everton away right now to come back to from a little period away. We've done it. We've won, and I'm very satisfied with the manner in which we won it. Darsh, 11 months, nearly at that 1 year, Darsh. Vardiol, JG10, man of the match. Foden, Silva, Julian score, but need more. Got the W, but I want the mentality of that second half displayed throughout the 90, not just 45. That's it. That's what. If we can show the mentality of the second half today for the remainder of the season, I believe we'll win the league. I believe we'll win the league because I think when we're in that killer mode and that resilient mode, I think where nobody stops us. Do either of you disagree with that?
No, I think if we can get on a little bit of a run, I don't think we get stopped. I'm confident in us now. I'm confident in us now, and that's taken out of account that they're going on these winning runs or anything like that. But if we play that second half consistently for 90 minutes throughout the rest of the season, we win this clearly. If we can consistently put that second half performance in, then mate, we're winning this 100%.
I agree.
I've just seen, by the way, and I see people saying in the chat just before you go to that super chat. John Stones, Pep has said that it doesn't look good on Stones' ankle injury. So John Stones is pretty much in the bin.
That's not what I want to hear. It for me, my first instinct was it's ligament damage. It's ligament damage.
I thought so as well because it barely any like contact. So I thought
it's a non-contact injury. Non-contact injury, they're always killer.
The thing with ligament damage is you can walk on it, you might be able to jog on it, but you can't play football on it, and it takes ages to heal. Ligaments take ages to heal. They're slow, lethargic, tedious processes. So if it is ligament, I would expect John Stones to be out for quite some time. Unfortunately, people, I hate to say it to you. I've had it myself on my left ankle. I had ligament damage, and I think I was at least 2 months before I could actually go back onto the grass. So I hope that's not the case for Stones. Big up Pi again. He says, do you think maybe are getting too dependent on our older players? This feels like the Klopp burnout phase from relying too much on senior players. Well, that's where the new signings have to come in and step up. And I think I will talk about Nunes when I'm done these super chats, but I also want to talk about Phil Foden because I thought he was magnificent tonight. But I mean, look, it's a balance. It's a balance where the older and younger players have to be able to both step up. I think if you want to win a league title, you can't rely on anybody. Everybody has to chip in, and we know that more than anybody. Your squad, everybody has to be able to contribute. But I hope it's not the case, Pi. I hope it's not the case. Big up John. He's got 2 super chats here. Kev should make squad next game. Was close today. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I'd say so. He's been in training now.
The only reason he wasn't today. The only reason he wasn't today, I saw, was that he was just tired because he'd been doing a lot of training. He was just fatigued.
Decent. Yeah, because I said that he should be aiming for Huddersfield, and obviously we've got Sheffield at the weekend, and the next game's Huddersfield, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think he should be aiming for Huddersfield, because then the game after that, I think there's like a 2-week break or whatever it is, and the game after that is Newcastle, or the next Prem game is Newcastle anyway. So
The reality
I think Huddersfield, man.
Huddersfield, yeah. Is that midweek next week or the following weekend?
Following weekend.
Yeah, 7th of January it is. Yeah.
It's a weekend, right? I think, look, if today was a Champions League final, John, he would have been. But because we didn't need to bring him back today or force him. With Kev, you'd rather give him more time than too little. You want him to be fully ready when he's back. So look, we got the win today without Kevin De Bruyne, and we can look forward to seeing Kevin De Bruyne. Whether he features at all on the pitch on Saturday, who knows? But I wouldn't even do it. I think we should be beating Sheffield United without Kevin De Bruyne. I wouldn't do it. I'd wait for Huddersfield. I'd wait for Huddersfield.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. And just let him.
We can't bring him back too soon like we did against Burnley.
Exactly. We don't want to do that. John again says Kev has one waiting for Arsenal at home. He does. I'm willing to put
yeah. He's banked it. He's banked it. He's ready for it.
That March period, I'm telling you, that's going to be Kevin De Bruyne's month. That's where Kev's going to go. Guess who's back, motherfuckers? He's gonna dunk. I can feel it, man. I can feel it. Big up John for the 2 super chats. Really appreciate you, brother. And then Jason again says, looked at the Foden strike again. That was hit with violence. It's a shame we don't take strikes like that on the regular. That's actually a really good point, Jason. And I do want to talk about Foden individually in a sec, but it's a good point you make that. And I kind of feel it myself sometimes that we overdo it. We're constantly trying to work our way right up to the goal. And every now and again, if the right player's in possession, I'd like to see Grealish do it more when he cuts in. It's just have a pop and test the keeper, because we know these players, Bernardo, Foden, Grealish, those 3 I'm looking at, Rodri even, you're all capable of scoring from range. You've all scored from range. And Foden tonight, Joe, I thought he was magnificent. That is Phil Foden playing with anger. He looked angry tonight. He looked like he wanted to prove a point. He looked like, it's like he knows Kev is coming back and Kev's going to slot back into midfield, but Foden wants to go, listen, don't forget about me as a midfielder. I'm still one of those guys.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd like to play next to him as well and have less of a burden, because if you imagine, I mean, all the creativity is basically on his shoulders right now. Like, he is the guy in the middle right now. I'm sure he'd love to play next to De Bruyne and be like, it's not on my shoulders anymore. I can sort of not take a back seat, but there's not as many eyes on me. I can do what I want to do. And again, I'm sure that's the message that he's trying to send, as to, as soon as he comes back, don't put me back on the wing. Don't do that just yet. Put me next to him, see what happens. Again, like, it might be overkill. I think you said it before. It might be overkill because there's like 2 10s in there, and Rodri will be left on his own again. Poor fella. But, say you're chasing a game. I might see it then.
Yeah. I think it's a good shout, and especially we've seen loads of times how Kev sometimes drops a little bit deeper, kind of plays a deep line playmaker role, and I think if you had Phil Foden, it'd allow Kev to do that if he wanted to, if Kev's like still having a chill period kind of thing. But like Joe said there, I think it gives Foden the kind of free role. Basically, it's no pressure of being you're just a main attacker. Everything has got to go through you. And he can just, add a bit of flair to it. He can just flourish himself. And I reckon it'd be good for both of them, that. But especially if we're losing as well.
I think a Rodri, Foden, De Bruyne midfield where they're all playing well is a dream for Man City fans. I need to ask this question, people. What does this mean?
This?
Yeah.
This?
I didn't even clock the lawnmower.
It's not a lawnmower, it's a rotivator, but yeah, it looks like a lawnmower. So for the past 2 streams, I thought you knew, innit? So for the past 2 streams, everyone in the chat has just been like, show us the lawnmower. It's not a lawnmower, it's a rotivator.
Bro took a break from gardening to do a post-match review.
Yeah, bro, I've been genuinely gardening. I've been grafting.
Over the Christmas, during the Christmas break,
yeah,
people probably go and do his side hustle, which is gardening.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, Foden, Pirlo says Foden was class today, and I'm very excited at the prospect or the idea of seeing Foden playing beside De Bruyne, Haaland in front of them. There is so many goals to be got there. There's so many G&A between that triangle of players. De Bruyne, Foden, and Haaland. It's scary hours. And I'm going to repeat myself. It's falling nicely into place for us. As long as none of these players get recurring injuries, like De Bruyne, like please God, it doesn't happen. He comes back and gets another issue, or Haaland comes back, gets another issue. If those players can just stay fit and we get a consistent starting 11, it's there for us to go and win this league. I'm convinced. I'm not convinced by Arsenal. I'm not. I think they're further ahead than Liverpool as far as in terms of title race in my mind. But I'm not convinced by them, and I won't be convinced by them until I see them doing consistently well in the time where it matters most. I want to see Arsenal in March and April picking up your wins and getting it when the heating is on full blast, Joe. So for me, I feel okay, man. I feel good. I'm woken up.
I mean, yeah, that's their Achilles heel. Arsenal is. I mean, last season was all about, can you do this test? Yes, they did. They passed loads of tests until they got to the most important part. And that was when they were playing like one game a week. Now they're playing in midweek, big Champions League ties. How are they going to fare then? Like when February starts and they're playing twice a week, 3 times a week. Like, can they keep up? I don't know. I mean, we'll find out. But I've seen a few Arsenal fans saying that, you know, they think they need to do business in January. They think they need maybe an extra body in defence, a number 9 who's going to score some goals. So, yeah, can they keep up when the going gets tough? When when they're trailing from the first leg of a big Champions League quarter-final, and they have to go for it in the second leg? How do they prioritise the league then? Because we've been in that situation where we've got these big Champions League nights, and I mean the one that I remember is it didn't matter because we were so far clear. But do you remember? It was 17-18 when United beat us, because we were prioritising the Champions League second leg because we were 1-0 down against Tottenham. Like, imagine Arsenal 1-0 down against, a Bayern Munich or something in a quarter-final. And they've got a league game against, someone tough away. How do they cope? How far do they push it for either game? Do they just sack off the Champions League because they're losing from the first leg? Do they maybe sacrifice 3 points and take a point in the Premier League and give up ground to us? I don't know, man.
I think with Arsenal, I think it's in their DNA that the business end of the season is never really great for them, especially current years. And I think they'll have learnt a lot from last season's title race, but how much have they learned? Do you know what I mean? How much is going to be put into practice this season? And I think that's where I'm still not fully convinced. I still think the jury's out on Arsenal. I feel like we've got to witness them going the distance in the title race, like properly, with the without bottling the second half. And this might be the year. Maybe they can do it. Maybe they can juggle it all. But it's one that we'll have to wait and see. I'm still. My thoughts are still that I think we'll win. I think we'll win it. I think we'll win it clear. I don't think it'll be like a sweaty last day of the season thing, but I think it'll be Arsenal Liverpool like right to the end.
It'll be interesting to see how they strike the balance between Champions League and Premier League. Arsenal will, because I think they got Porto. I think they'll get past Porto in the last 16. Then you're into your quarterfinals where we know it starts to get sticky, and you're doing you might be down somewhere like, I don't know, who's down south. You might have Brighton away or something, and then you're going to fucking Munich in midweek, and it gets tough. It really gets tough, and your metal begins to get tested. So, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on Arsenal. Matheus Nunes, because he played well against Belgrade and in Saudi Arabia, got his way into the starting 11 ahead of Kovacic today. What did you guys make of him? It was tough for him, I thought.
Yeah, I think like he tried to fledge. I mean, the guy was taking people on like no tomorrow, which is standard Nunes. I'd like to see more from him, but it is what it is. I think the decision to take him off and put Kovacic on was a smart one by Pep. But I didn't at any point look at the Nunes for think he was shit. I didn't think like he looked out of place. For for contrast, that's something that we do on the regular with Calvin Phillips. He does look out of place when he plays in the City side quite a lot of times. So yeah, it weren't a standout performance on Nunes. He was just there. Do you know what I mean? He was there existing. And like I said, the first half we were still dominant. We were. I know we went 1-0 down, but we were still dominant for a lot of periods of the game. We had to go up a few gears to really get in there. And but I think he had a standard game. Nothing too much, nothing too little.
I think to see the best of Nunes, Joe, he probably needs a run of games, doesn't he? But whether he's going to get that or not, don't know.
Well, I doubt it. If you think of Kevin De Bruyne coming back, yeah, it was more of the same. Like, you see glimpses because he's in and out of the team, and he hasn't had a run. So you see what he can do in glimpses, like those off the ball runs into the penalty area. You can almost say Gundogan-esque, someone arriving in there. Just, an extra body in there when the ball comes across. Something that, Kovacic doesn't do that. He's a different player. Kovacic doesn't do that. Nunes does. Again, you see glimpses. I mean, I agree with Jordan. I mean, I wasn't calling for him to be taken off. When I saw Kovacic was coming on, I expected it to be Nunes. But I wasn't for one moment going, he's been subpar, take him off. Like, that's not what I was thinking. But I really think that we do have a player here. I've been really encouraged, especially after Saudi Arabia. Like, he had a really good 2 games there. And he's got a little bit of trust from Pep now, starting this game. Big game, basically throw it in. But, yeah, a run of games would be the real test. Will he get it? Probably not. But, again, like, you see it in glimpses. He's not had a run. He needs a run if we're going to see, the best of him.
I think he's going to be sick. He's going to be like a proper City player. I know we see glimpses in that, but these are good glimpses that we're seeing. I feel like I have good vibes about Nunes. Genuinely think he's going to be meant for us.
So do I. I mean, you could see Foden out on the right, and you can have what Jay here says, De Bruyne, Rodri, Nunes. That's something I'd equally be interested in seeing. I'd also like to see what that looks like and how that dynamic works, because for me, Nunes, he's probably not as technically good as Foden, but he's definitely more of a presence physically, and he likes to be combative. And then you put De Bruyne beside him, who's a chief creator, Rodri there as well. So it would be an interesting dynamic. And the beauty is we have these options. I do like Nunes, and as Joe says, the main thing is we've seen something from him, and he looked like he fitted in tonight. You know what I mean? He didn't have a 10 out of 10 game where he took the world by storm, but he fitted in, and he didn't stand out as being below par or too slow or sluggish, or his decision making was poor. So I'm very excited to see the progression of Matheus Nunes, and hopefully we'll see. I think we'll see him again on Saturday. I think he'll start against Sheffield United on Saturday afternoon, so he'll get another opportunity there.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
And then we'll have to see with Matheus Nunes. But yeah, listen, City currently sit 4th in the Premier League on 37 points, and as Jordan said, we are 1 game behind Liverpool, who sit on top. Arsenal have to play tomorrow against West Ham. Be great if our southern brothers in West Ham do us a favour. Do either of you see West Ham potentially getting anything off Arsenal? They're scoring goals, West Ham. Jarrett Bowen's on fire, and he's shagging Danny Dyer.
Yeah, guys living the life, isn't it? I mean, I'd like to, innit? I'd like to see West Ham get something, but
where's it at?
I don't. I don't.
Is it at Arsenal? Is it at Arsenal? Yeah. No chance. No, Arsenal win that.
No chance.
Arsenal win that.
No chance. Yeah.
I don't know.
We've seen stranger things happen in this Premier League title race,
No chance is a bit harsh, but it's at the Emirates. I'm like 90% confident that Arsenal, at very least, sneak over the line.
I don't know, man.
The way I think about it is, I don't think they'll get anything, but then if they do, I'll be gassed. But then if I go, oh, West Ham might get something in it, then I'm just gonna be left disappointed in it. So there's no point. So I'd rather be surprised.
I think West Ham gets something. I have a funny feeling. Maybe a draw. Mohamed Kudus, Jarrett Bowen, all these men. You know what I'm saying? I think they could do something for us. West Ham, can you do something for me? I got a feeling, man. I got a feeling. We'll have to see, but we'll keep our eyes on that. And if West Ham do take something, you best believe we'll be live straight after to talk about the consequences and the significance of that. Definitely. I don't know. I mean, will our performance and our result tonight maybe put a rocket up the arses of some of the other teams around us? we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But listen, we're going to wrap it up now in a sec. I'm just going to paste. That's Joe's channel. I've just put into the chat there, people. Make sure to go over and subscribe to Joe's channel. He's putting out content weekly now, Man City Talk. Do go over and show him love there. We appreciate Joe and everything he does for us. So if you would show your appreciation too and go over to his channel and watch the vids, like and subscribe over there, and make sure on your way out from here, you hit the like button. Still over 220 people in the building. Big City win away in Goodison Park. Absolutely buzzing. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we will see you all tomorrow. Hopefully, I think I might have a panel show getting sorted out, so keep your eyes peeled. In a bit, good night and God bless.
Bits.